There it is, you guys. It's saying we're live. How's everybody doing tonight?
Wonderful.
Tired.
Wonderful. Okay, tired.
I'm tired and I'm a little moody.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's going to be an interesting show then tonight, isn't it?
Tired.
You guys, thank you so much for joining us again on a Monday night. I had to look at the comments. It is Monday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. On a Monday.
I know.
I
I'm
was
like,
wait a minute.
vintage rescue squad. I
How
thought
is
I
that?
could, but I can't.
I thought that was like a trick to know what day of the week it was.
I know. I was like, it's Tuesday.
You
It's
know, like
Tuesday.
Sunday, or what is it? January, February, March, April.
It's really hard to know what day it is. You know what? I've been even
I bet for
filming
you.
or not filming intros for all my videos. I've been vlogging and getting all of the content, and then I can't even remember like to film the beginning of the video.
I know. I bet you are
I'm
just
all
like
on vacation mode.
Yeah, you have lost all track of days and times.
Have you been shopping every day?
Pretty much, yes.
Oh,
I've been
wow.
finding some amazing stuff. The shed in Kentucky, oh my gosh. The Jeff's junk guy was incredible. I just wanted to buy his whole booth of advertising.
Now, you guys, just in case you were unaware, Katie, where are you currently streaming from?
I'm currently streaming from Pam's house, Pamela Blanchard in Alabama. So she's been so great and been very, very, very Pam and Southern, and had me stay at her house. And I've just had the best time. I'm in the bunny room. I'm all cozy. I mean, Pam's got me set up here.
And I'm so jealous because you're so close to me. Like, because I'm in Georgia, I just want to like hop on over and hang out with you and Pam.
Well, come on.
I'm coming.
Uh-oh.
But
Ariana said, bye. I'll see you in a little bit.
Bye.
Come on, baby.
And there's Pam.
There's
Pam.
You guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Just some quick special shout outs. We've got Mick here in the chat, our first comment of the evening. Thank you so much. We love Mondays when we remember what day it is. Thank you for being with us, Mick. And Penny Sue, how are you doing? Thank you so much for being with us. Beth, good evening. How are you tonight? Oh, she said class is in session. Get out those pens and paper. No, get out the pencils just in case you need to do a little erasing. You never know. Right? Wolves 2018 and 19 obviously is a Central or West Coaster. Picking up the kids is in line currently. Thank you for spending the time with us. Carol, how are you doing tonight? And Sandra, and there she is, Karen Radford, how are you? Hello, Jeanette. Thank you for being with us. Hello, Holly. How are you? Sarah Lee, lady, what's going on? And Kathy and Kathleen and LaDonna, you guys, thank you so much for being with us.
Hey, Mom. Katie, did you want to play something over here?
Oh, I did.
Oh, well.
Hello, Pamela.
Well, hang on just a minute. Katie has taken the power off the Wi-Fi.
Well, that's my fault. I unplugged the cord that I thought was another lamp.
I have been over here sweating like a slut in church trying to figure this out.
I unplugged it to plug in my computer.
Oh my gosh, this is the best night ever.
Girl, I have done called Charter Communications and cussed them out within an inch of their life.
Sorry, Pam.
You don't want to make Miss Pamela mad.
No,
Wait, okay, we're going to wait to plug it.
Look, I'm going to tell you what. I done said it before. Everybody loves Miss Pamela, but I'm going to tell you what. That's one woman I would not want to upset. You know what?
Us other women were nice, but don't mess with us.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So you guys, thank you so much for being with us. I guess why don't we go ahead and do a quick little introduction for everyone. That way that way you guys get a little bit more familiar with us if you're maybe a stranger to any of us. You guys do keep in mind, though, I will let you know, everybody's link is down below. Everybody's links are down below in the description, both YouTube channels as well as Instagram pages. If you are not subscribed or following anybody, please make sure to just go ahead. It literally would take like 10 seconds if you weren't following any of us.
There
So
we
just
go.
hit that subscribe
Thanks,
button
Pam.
and
I'm
the
sorry.
follow button. I mean,
Now I gotta
Carrie,
apologize to the darn
you,
cable company, Katie.
Sorry. Tell them it's my fault. Tell them your roommate unplugged the Wi-Fi.
Oh my gosh, that's the best sound in the world.
Mhm. All right, Ariana, you want to start us off, sister? Who are you?
Me?
What you about?
My name is Ariana. My channel name is The Withering Cottage. Withering.
Or the Withering Woman, as Jeffrey likes to
The
call
Withering Woman. Thanks for that, Jeffrey.
The Withering Woman.
Or Miss Des Miones, whichever.
Mayonnaise.
I am a vintage and antique reseller here on YouTube. These wonderful people are my friends. My Instagram is also the.withering.cottage. And I also have an eBay store and 2 antique booths, both here in Georgia in the Bodunks.
Get the Bodunks.
In the Bodunks. Not too far from Miss Pam. And now.
Uh-oh. And now Katie.
And now.
Yep. And now me.
Katie, how you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing fabulous. I've been having the best time traveling, meeting all kinds of wonderful people. So if you don't know me, I'm from Vintage and Vinyl. That's my channel. And I've been having so much fun vlogging along my travels. I've been to St. Louis, now to Pam. I met up with Jamie at Mid-Century Wasted. I got to meet Jeffrey, which was so much fun. And Angela, dear Angela's Vintage. And now Pam. We're just having a ball, as you can tell tonight. Pam and I are having fun. So I've been filming and doing some great content for my channel for that. And of course, I do live sales and all kinds of other fun content, including sometimes I eat some weird Jell-O molds.
Yes.
And try them out so that
know.
you guys don't have to. You can see my face and learn whether or not they're actually any good. And some of them are really nasty.
Have you had one that you would say, I want to kind of, is there any one, Katie, that you're kind of like, I wouldn't mind going for that right now?
No, not a single one.
I don't think so.
Now, I will say the fruit ones don't look bad.
On all of them.
That was quick. No.
No, but the tuna ones, ring around the tuna needs to go right in the trash.
Yeah, that's good. I mean,
that was nasty.
Jell-O was trying real hard in the 50s. They really were.
If you think about it, like with Jell-O, a lot of times they'd work with other brands and they'd have to fill like a whole magazine or a whole cookbook based around ketchup or mayonnaise. So they would just have to create like whatever recipe it was to fill all the pages. So they just shove random stuff together. And also it was the era that people didn't throw stuff away.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Pam. We got the internet working again.
Ooh, good.
After
We're
my
gonna die
unplugging.
Misty Pay, what's going on, sister friend?
Well, I have been very busy today. I've had to take my son is having surgery in a couple months, but I mean it's just deviated septum surgery, so that's going to be fun. But also I went to an antique mall today that is closing at the end of the month. One of my favorite ones, Westbury Antique Mall, they're closing their doors for good at the end of the month. So I went in today because some of the booths are having some sales, and I'll probably will go in again toward. But yeah, that was a really tough thing to hear because it was one of my very favorite places to go. So I hate that for everybody involved, but
do you?
I understand it. I understand the owners wanting to do something else, but I feel bad for everybody that has to. A lot of the places in this area, there's waiting lists, and I mean, you know how it is with antique malls. There's usually a waiting list, and so it's really kind of a tough go for them right now. So I hate that.
Now, how many do you ladies know about, like, how many antique stores that you guys each have? Like, do you have like a specific radius? So far as these are my favorite, and these are like my top 3 frequents because they're so nearby, or do you, Ariana, you kind of have to travel just to get out into civilization, but
all my antique stores are a minimum of an hour away each
Really?
of them, and there's only within my hour radius. There's probably, I mean, you guys have seen them repetitively on my channel. There's probably 5, and I have picked them all to death, like death. Like there's nothing there for me. So now I need to pull a Katie and go on a road trip.
Well, you can come up north.
I'm coming. The estate sales have been my saving grace, because living in the country like I do, there's the biggest city is Atlanta, and then Atlanta, it doesn't have like antique stores. It's more Atlantic. So there's really it's an interesting place. But yeah, so estate sales are really what's been saving me in my business as of right now. And all the thrift stores around here have closed too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
See,
They're not getting the donations, maybe, huh?
I would think that after COVID they would have been overwhelmed, but I just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Our Goodwills and really any thrift stores in my area are not good at all. And my theory is that people leave from the Midwest to move to Florida, and they give away all their good stuff, or their family gets it before they come here.
Yeah.
So we get a lot of junk now. I have looked at estate sales, and I got lucky with my first one, but I've been constantly checking the website back, and there's a lot of lawn equipment and just sort of new, like 90s sports toys, and some of them may be valuable, but I don't do eBay per se, so I don't know a ton about those particular types of collectibles. But I do find that there's a good, probably 4 or 5 antique malls that I regularly shop. I do struggle to find, really good mid-century glass and things for the sales, but I've got to hook up now with brooches. And the lady that has a brooch booth at one of my favorite malls, she travels the world. She goes to France, to Austria, to Italy, and she buys all these amazing pieces at the flea markets there and brings them back. And she knows me now, so we have a relationship, and she'll kind of give me a bundle deal and things like that. And
that's good.
I just love her. So I do have a good source for brooches, and she's always restocking, which is nice.
I think that's a good point to bring up. I think that if you are reselling and you're trying to source, whether you're selling on eBay or you're in an antique booth, it's always good to make those connections and maybe find somebody that you can have like a go-to. Like if she knows that you sell brooches, then she knows that she can approach you. She knows that you're needing to make money, needing to make a profit. She's needing to make a profit on what she's selling them to you for. But I think that it is getting a lot harder to find things. And I think that that's one thing that you have to take into consideration. With the prices of things that sometimes things go for, I'm not buying things at a wholesale price. I know that you guys aren't either. I mean, we have to, we're buying things not at a wholesale price. So we have to keep that in mind when we are outsourcing things. I always try to think, okay, this is, say I'm buying something for $16. How much can I make? I mean, can I double my money if I sell this? And that kind of determines whether or not I'm going to buy it or not. I may really want it, but you kind of have to keep that magic number in your mind. What's going to be left for you off the bone, so to speak.
And I don't mind paying up for things if it's something for my collection. I will pay up for advertising because I know what advertising's worth, and I know what
That's a difference, though. It's a different if you're buying something for. Did Katie get frozen?
Oh no, Misty's about to get mad.
Oh no,
Katie girl, can you hear it? Oh, she's back.
Yeah, so I'll pay up for those things, but with resale, you really do have to know, like, what can I get? And I think too, when you're having a sale, particularly a live sale, you have to know your audience and who you're selling with, because you might be able to pick an item out that you say, okay, this is good for this type of sale with this type of person.
Yes.
But I'm having a sale with this person and their audience doesn't like the mid-century, or they don't have a lot of people that buy this. So I need to think about what I'm sourcing for what sale. And I think that's really important.
And I think that you bring up a very valid and a very good point. A lot of us that are having, I mean, all 4 of us on the screen have live sales. I know that there are people in the chat that do have live sales as well. And you're correct. I mean, if I'm going to have a sale with Katie, I'm going to bring brooches. You know what I mean? Because that's her niche. You know, that's her niche. And so she's going to have people that are looking for brooches at her sale. You know, she may not want to bring, I sell brooches, but I don't sell a lot of brooches at my sale. It's not really my niche, but she may not want to bring, I don't know, a primitive crock at my sale, because that's not
I don't think your audience is interested.
Right. So I think that's a really good point. You to try to curate. You're curating items for each sale that you're having. And sometimes the day of the week, the time of the day, if it's a night sale, if it's a day sale, that makes a difference too.
Well, that's the thing though too. For me, like so far as shopping, fortunately because of the area that I live in, I think I can never remember. I think there's like 7 antique malls that are within 30 minutes of me. I have one Goodwill, one thrift store that I cannot film at. But it's hard because that's like Ariana said, like you can't, and I think that's something too that people have to realize with reselling is that you're going to have to broaden your horizon because yes, 7 sounds like a lot, but when you're having sales and that's what you're doing, you're in those places constantly and you're like, maybe you'll see 1 or 2 new things and you buy them and then you've got to give those people time to replenish their booths, switch stuff out. And if you're going every week at an antique mall, that's usually not enough time for them to like switch stuff out.
You gotta think too, if us as resellers are shopping those same malls, that same area, and we're picking it right, you have to then think, where are those vendors getting their items? Do they have a back stock where they can use those items to replenish their booth, or are they having just as hard of a time as we are finding things to replace their booths?
Well, and then you add in to if you're filming your shop with me videos, if you go to the same places, your viewers are going to be like, dang it, Michael, you were just there. You just showed the same stuff last week in last week's video.
Right.
You have to go out. I usually keep a 3-hour radius. A 3-hour radius where I don't have to spend the night somewhere. But I do take buying trips, and then you have to add in the cost of your hotel stay and your food. So all of those expenses do kind of cut into your bottom line a little bit. But I love being able to just go and try to find new places. That's exciting. That's
the
exciting.
Midwest is where it's at. I'm telling you,
it is.
I have found some great stuff in the Midwest this trip.
Now, Jamie's asking, where do you ladies think that, to Ariana's point, where do you guys think that those antique malls are sourcing? Are they really going to thrift stores? Is there a back catalog? I know a lot of people have been doing it for years. So they have maybe storage units where they're kind of pulling things out. The holidays is a really good example. They probably have a storage unit or a basement or an attic where they're housing their stuff. Are they going out to thrift stores? Are they hitting up the yard sales and the estate sales,
Well, I have 2 antique booths, and for me, it's been estate sales, estate sales, estate sales. That is the only place, because you have to think an estate sale is someone's entire estate. So it's like the creme de la creme. Like, we're all collectors, right? So imagine everything in our estate coming up for sale at once. Some of these things hadn't seen the light of day for 50, 60, 70 years. And then all of a sudden it becomes available. Now, the problem is, though, with those estate sales, is that you have to have a lot of backed up money, first off, because when you go in, it's the entire estate. And it's not like an antique mall where you're like, well, I'm going to pick this, I'm going to pick this, and I'm going to come back next week. And if this is still here, I'll grab it then. It's a 2-day, 3-day max sale. So if you see something you want, you have to get it, and you have to invest your money when you can. Like my haul, that was very expensive, but when are you ever going to see that amount of money again? So that's how I'm feeling my booths right now, is estate sales. That's the only place I can find stuff, because you can't really pick. I mean, there's some exceptions, but it's very difficult to pick from another antique mall and then put it in your antique mall.
Because of your margin.
They're competitive pricing. You can't price things too high in an antique mall, and they're not going to sell. You know what I mean? So it's very hard to navigate what goes to a live sale, what goes to a booth, what goes to eBay, all the things.
Well, and I think it's also a good idea, to think about maybe even talking to some people if you're at a flea market. You say you go to a flea market, it's flea market season. Flea market season. You go to a flea market and maybe you're talking to the vendors and you just start networking, and maybe they can give you a name of somebody that, hey, I know this person has this amount of stuff, or maybe they are wanting to get. I mean, I have gotten a lot of leads from people just by talking to them, and they'll meet me someplace with a box full of stuff that they have. I mean, a safe place. So you can.
A box full of stuff.
Yeah.
She's got them showing up at the shop, you guys. Don't let her fool.
Sometimes, I mean, you network and you find the people that have things that are wanting to get rid of them. They're wanting to make money off some of the things that they have, and you can buy it in a lump sum. Some of it's good, some of it's not. You just have to kind of figure out what you want, what you don't.
And I think that's true, because when you find people and you network with them, like the brooch lady that I've gotten to know,
yep,
or Richie at my favorite antique mall, my other favorite, Avonlea, it's a huge warehouse type place. He collects ephemera and advertising, and so now I have a source for ephemera, and he has a back storage unit. Actually, he told me he has 3 of them like filled, and so I just go in, and when I see him, he usually is there pretty much every day. And I tell him, I'm looking for this, this, and this. And he'll say, all right, I'll go to my storage unit and I know where it is. He's got it, obviously, I guess, organized. And he goes back and comes in the next couple of days and he'll call me and I'll meet him out in the parking lot. And he'll bring me stuff, that I'm looking for. Or he's got a lot of stuff in his ephemera booth. He has 3 booths at this antique mall. One's advertising of bottles, one's ephemera, and then one's just, other stuff. But it's great. And so if you can network with people, you can find a lot of good stuff that way. But I will say in Florida, it is very hard for me to find good stuff for sales.
Yeah. The Midwest is best.
Midwest is best.
That's a t-shirt waiting to happen.
I have a sweatshirt that says that Midwest is best.
I was going to say, though, you will sometimes be shut down, because I was this weekend, that epic estate sale or vintage holiday. There was a group of girls, 3 girls, and they were amazing pickers. Like, they were buying, I want this whole section. And they loaded up an entire Sprint van of all the vintage Halloween and Christmas and advertising. Wow. And it was gone so fast I couldn't even blink. And so I actually went up to them and gave them a business card. And I said, hey, where are you at? Where can I buy these things? I said, I don't only buy things at estate sales. I'd love to shop what you just got if you're interested, if that's what your goal is to sell the items and make money. And she told me what antique mall she was at. And I said, okay, awesome. Well, here's my phone number. If you ever want to sell directly to me and not, have that 10% tax at the antique mall, I would love to connect with you and buy some of these things from you. And she said, well, you're talking to the wrong person, because I own them all. And that's a big no-no. I was like,
ooh,
I'm sorry.
You're like,
She was like, all really good, and they wouldn't do that. And I was like,
that you know of, lady.
Good
that you know of, lady.
Oh, I was like, it was your face. My face got.
No, but I think that it was good for you to ask, though. I mean,
yeah.
take those risks.
I really
did. What I've always learned is the answer is always no until you ask. So it never hurts to ask, because you don't know what you're going to find out. And maybe on a rare occasion, the answer is yes, or someone says something even more incredible. Well, like at the telephone museum, there's a wonderful telephone museum in St. Louis, and no one knows about it because it's out in the middle of an army base, so people wouldn't expect it to be there. Little tiny house from the Civil War. Anyway, it's excellent. And I've been there a couple of times, and they actually get telephone memorabilia that's true to Bell Telephone, because the people that run it are from the Bell Telephone system. They used to work for Bell. So they get all these donations in, and what they can't use in their museum, they sell at a very reasonable price. So I was in there and I thought, surely they won't let me film. And it turned out that the guy who owned the whole museum and curated it, happened to be there that day. And he not only let me film, but he gave me a private pic of all of this amazing Bell telephone advertising. So soon I will be having some amazing Bell stuff coming to you guys.
Ooh.
There's some stuff I'm
Nice.
keeping, but I mean, the guy was amazing, and all I did was ask. So you never know, you know.
Hey, watchers out there, if you guys have any really, really good vintage Halloween and Christmas and collectibles, go ahead and email Cottage@gmail.com. Thank you so much.
Right. Well, I was going to say though too, you know, when you are out at garage sales or flea markets, even antique malls, you can always ask, is there any, you know, this is $25. Is there any, can you do any better? Always ask that. I went to a flea market yesterday and I got things for, $5, $6, $7 cheaper than what was on the ticket. So it doesn't hurt to ask. They can tell you no, and that's okay. But they could also tell you yes. It doesn't hurt to ask.
And you know what, though? I'd say at 6 out of 10 antique malls have a policy set where that's $20. If you ask for a discount, it's an automatic
10%. Yeah.
without even contact. That's like a little secret. But now
Look at that. Amy just put that in there too. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, when I was with Jamie, and there'll be more on this story later. I can't share it all just yet because there's a special surprise. But we got so lucky. We went to this estate sale auction, and Jamie was picking up something. Again, more on that something later. But when we got there, the guy had all this stuff left over from his estate sale, and it wasn't very great. But then Blake said, "Hey, do you have any records?" And the guy's like, "Oh yeah, I got a next door." So we go next door, and not only are there records, but Jamie found a Starburst clock for $10, a tension pole lamp for $25. The guy just was like, "My wife doesn't like this stuff. I need to get rid of it." And he was just, I was just showing him stuff. This was in St. Louis.
Right.
And I was just showing him stuff, and I brought this antique oil can that worth way more. He's like, "Well, I don't know. Would $1 be okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, $1 would be great." Like we were both trying not to show our excitement, because the guy was just giving stuff away. And at the end, I walked out of the door and I said, "Hey, what about this?" And he goes, "Oh, just take it." And he was just throwing advertising and stuff in my box, just thrilled to get rid of it. And it's all because Blake said, "Do you have any vinyl?" Like, you never know.
You never know.
Well, I think that's important though too, and that's one thing because, and I haven't gone yard selling yet this year, but like my friend Jimmy, like he's very proactive, and you guys hear him like, "Do you have any video games? Do you have any video games? Do you have any video games?"
Yeah.
But that doesn't, and then he would be like, "Go ask if they have glass," and I'd be like, "Do you have any glass? Do you have any glass?" You know what I mean? You just don't know. Like if people that are selling stuff, and especially, maybe if the yard sale isn't going that well and you're saying, "I'm looking for these things," and they're like, "Actually, I'd be willing to part with this," because you're standing there with cash, like they're already having a sale. So they're in that mindset, but even unconventional. And I've really have tried to go a lot more smaller, off the beaten path kind of places, because I have found that they have unusual items.
Well, the record store I went to in St. Louis, called the Record Exchange, the guy's been collecting over 15 years, and he has, boxes and boxes of records. Place is massive, but he had a ton of rare 50s stuff that, you wouldn't think 50s vinyl's worth a lot, but there are some doo-wop groups that are worth, one album could be $250.
Wow.
They're just that hard to find. So I was in there digging through this, and Jamie was there with me, and I was literally just drooling because I'm like, I'm never going to see this stuff again. And he had it priced pretty expensive. And I thought, all right, if I make him an offer all in cash and I take it up to the front and I say, "Hey, I'll give you this for all of the," and he did, he took it. And I got a great deal on all these records that they just never come up for sale, and I'm thrilled to have them in my collection now.
Well, I can tell you firsthand that, owning a brick and mortar antique store, sometimes you just want to get rid of stuff. It's taking up space. It isn't selling. You've had it forever. You look at it every day, and every day you say to it, I hope you sell today because I'm sick of looking at you. Oh no, we lost Katie.
No, I think she's refreshing.
But so I've had like things that I've maybe had $50 on, and someone will come and it's worth $50, but someone would come in and they look at it, I'm like, you can have it for $10. You know, and they didn't even have to approach me. I was like, you can take it. Like they touched it, and I'm like, what? You can have it for $10. You know, so you never know what's going to fall upon your lap sometimes. No.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Karen is saying that she's really loving estate sales, and that's something, you guys, that we were talking about before we went live, is Ariana's experience and her evolution of estate sale shopping. I mean, Ariana, would you want to share that about like the last one that you were at and that experience there?
Sure. So before we came on, we always kind of like just chit chat amongst, friends. But I was telling them that estate sale was literally a feeding frenzy, which I said in the haul video. Because you have to imagine, so the line started, at the front door, and it goes about 100 people back. And it's a small house. This is how a lot of estate sales are. Some estate sales, depending on the size of the house, will let you in increments, like the first 20 and then the first 40. But then other estate sale companies like this one let everybody in at once. Even if you're in a line, 1, 2, 3, 4, it doesn't really matter once you're in the house, because all it does is guarantee you your feet in the door. That's it. Once you're in the house, there's 100 people behind you. And this was one of those estate sales where nothing was priced for the most part. It was, if you ask them on an individual item, they say, we don't give prices for individual items. Make a pile. When you're ready to check out, we'll talk. That's how they operated. So everybody had their own shopping.
That's dangerous.
Boxes. Exactly. So people would just take their box or their bag like I did and just scoop the items into, I have PTSD goosebumps. Do you see? They would just scoop it in, throw it in the pile, like scoop it, throw it, scoop it, throw it. And the house had so much stuff in it, but it was gone in about 10 minutes. The entire house was empty, because you got to imagine 100 resellers entering one little house all at once. It was insane. And I was telling my Misty that, when I started estate selling, I was kind of calm and collected. I'd say, like, excuse me, can I get through?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. So sharp when you walk in those doors. You're not rude, obviously. You still want to, respect people's space to the best of your abilities. But there's a general consensus that there is no space, because
you have to dig your feet in sometimes, and you have to hold your own.
And that's everybody. So they know if you bump into them, it's not intentional. It's just part of the game.
Part of it.
Just first come, first serve. And there's only one of that item. So it really is like a rat race. And I was actually waiting in line for 2 hours at that estate sale before I went in. And it was still just grasping at straws. It was insane.
And I think I was going to say, I think that's something that people need to maybe take, kind of know what you go through in order to curate items for your sale. You're not just going into a thrift store and, oh, this looks good. You're putting these things in your cart. No, you are going to war.
And to be quite honest, I have some anxiety, not like debilitating, but it's not the best either. It's not like in small groups of people, but like concerts and amusement parks and things like that, which just people all in my space I don't do so well with. But I do it for you guys, because I hated it. I hated every minute of it, but I did it for y'all. And it was so stressful. But that really is what, like, especially living in the country, I can't just go to the store and buy all of these things. I literally have to fight for them. And I did. And it was terrifying. But I did good.
Oh, Ariana got some amazing things. If you've not seen her haul from the back of her car.
Paper mache pumpkins.
Yeah, several.
And the Victorian hat rack. Oh my gosh. All of it was amazing.
And it was
postcard.
I fought for it. So I got it fair and square.
I mean, I will say that when I come back from an estate sale, there's like a high that you're on
There
because you're
is.
so pumped up because you have to be. And it's funny because before I went to my first estate sale, I didn't really know what to expect. And Carrie, I was talking with Carrie and she told me, Katie, you're really nice, but you can't be. I mean, you want to be nice, obviously, to
Right.
people, but she's
Cordial.
like, you got to be a little bit tougher and you got to just get in there and get what you want because Whole Howard was on the line at this one estate sale. Of course, they wanted $150 a piece, so there's no way I could
Oh, see, that's where I get too. Like, I'm so impatient. I don't like waiting around when I know
Same.
what's in there. Like, I'm like, is it? But you have to show up early if you're going to be one of the first people in there. And then that's so disappointing. You've waited all this time and you walk in and you're like, $150. What did I just wait in line for?
Well, somebody ended up buying all of them. One lady came in and within the first second, she bought them all. And I don't know if she was a collector. I can only assume. But then in the basement, they had these teapots. Now, I never seen them before. They're Hall, and they were the car teapots. So they were shaped like vintage cars. Now, they had done their research because they said that, only 200 and something of these were made, yada, yada, yada. And of course, they wanted 300 a piece for them. But even on half off day, unless you're a teapot collector, who is going in and buying that for that price? But I did end up getting some other things. Like 50-cent girly candles and all kinds of good stuff that was down in the basement.
Because these estate companies don't let you see the prices and the pictures on purpose. Because if you could shop from yourself and say nope, then they're not going to.
You're not going to,
yeah.
So they the prices off of stuff. So it always is a gamble. Sometimes it's a huge waste of time. Sometimes you hit the mother load. It's just part of the game. But it's still very competitive.
What if there's two estate sales going on at the same time and they're both like really good and you're like, how do you decide?
So that's what happened. The Victorian estate sale was the same time as the holiday estate sale. And honestly, in the holiday estate sale, there was no vintage holiday posted. There was no of it. I guess they didn't find it to be important. So I just had to kind of pick, I just picked one. And it's just sometimes you look out, sometimes you don't.
That's how it happened for you.
Well, in my area, we don't have estate sales. There's no estate sales in like a couple hour radius where I'm at.
That's crazy.
So we have auctions. They're estate auctions, but you're there all day.
Oh, man.
You got to sit through the fishing poles. You got to sit through the coins. You got to sit through the firearms and the stuff that you just don't. You're just like, just somebody buy it. Somebody buy it. It's painful, but you can get some really good stuff at the end in the lots and the boxes. And that's when your anxiety hits because they'll break off into two rings. So they got a ring over there and a ring over here. And I'm like running back I'm walking fast, back and forth, because I'm so nervous that I'm going to miss something that I saw over there or something that I saw over there. And then Dad and I have been there together and we've been outbidding each other because we can't see where each other's at. So it's stressful. It's stressful.
Now, Rosie Clover. Go ahead, Katie.
Sorry, Mike. Well, that was the anxiety for me a little bit going into this estate sale. It's like they took pictures, but it was zoomed in on like a tablecloth. So you couldn't really figure out where stuff was located. So I'm like, when I get in the house, where am I going to go? And I started asking the lady, and she didn't know where anything was, of course. And so I'm like, well, where do I go? So there was like, I could see myself in one room. And then I thought, well, what if I'm in this one room and there's something really good in another room and I'm missing it because I'm taking too long in this room? And that stressed me out a little bit,
Now, Rosie Clover is bringing up an interesting thing. She's saying I get sad at estate sales because it was someone's precious possessions. Misty actually had a really good, because I get that way though too. there are certain things that I am overly sentimental about, shall we say, and I can't help but think about what would happen because that's what Ariana's saying. Imagine if it was, our stuff, and I'm like, I do. So, but Misty had a really good response. Do you remember what it was?
Well, that you are, okay, all of my squeakers and, all the things that we love, that things that are precious to us that maybe like, my kids could care less about, nobody really cares about but me. I would want somebody to come in and buy the things and then resell them and get them in the hands of somebody that will also put it on their shelf and appreciate it and it have like a second life again. It's not going to
Yeah.
be just thrown in the trash. It's not going to just be get donated to Goodwill and be thrown in the bins and then who knows where. So if you look at it that you are giving the things another life again, and that person that cherished those things and collected those things I would love for someone to be able to just come in and give it more
A new
shelter.
home.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now,
That's how I feel.
it does.
Yeah. You're honoring it.
Yeah.
Right. But when this type of estate sale happens, I'm not going to lie, it does feel insensitive to the person and their belongings when an estate sale happens like this one did, where it's kind of like a bum rush and then like piranhas over a slice of meat. Like
Yeah.
that does affect me a little bit because you can treat the things with respect, not break them, but it happens so fast. You can't be like, pick it up gently. Look, it's not like that. You have to gather and then show the items respect afterwards, which isn't as easy than like going to a calm estate sale or an antique mall where you can pick the item up and look it over and then send it off that way. But at the end of the day, it sucks, but it's inevitable, right?
Yeah.
It's my stuff. It's gonna be Katie. It's gonna be all of our stuff. I mean, we can't take it with us, right? That's the thing. But like Misty said, it can live on in another generation and be loved and appreciated by somebody else.
And that's what I feel about estate sales is to me, I don't really get sad as I get joyful over the fact that I'm now saving this item. And if I'm keeping it, I know I'm going to cherish it and love it. And if I'm not keeping it or I'm picking it up for a sale, I know that I'm giving it a new home and someone's really going to love it. And it was kind of neat when I was on the St. Louis trip because I went to visit some family too while I was there. And my aunt, we were at her house one day and she was going through some of her stuff. And she was like, no, none of the other family wants this. And she's like, when I die, I don't know what's going to happen to it. And that made me a little sad for a minute. And then she said, but you love it and you're going to treasure it. And she started squealing with excitement and the fact that I wanted some of the family silver and I wanted, this picture or that item. And she just got so excited and lit up. And I thought, well, that's really cool because now she's getting to see me enjoy it. Right. And I have it in my home and I'm giving it a new life and loving it and learning about its history. And so you're kind of doing that with these other people's items. You might not get to meet them, but I know that they can see that we're enjoying them here on Earth.
I'm just going to let you, I don't mean to, sorry, but you guys, I don't know. I feel like we need to do like a New Orleans, like I'm telling you, like Laura is saying, like the antique malls. Ariana, have you been to New Orleans, girl?
I haven't been anywhere except for my driveway. And
oh no, ma'am. Like Ariana
I've never been to Louisiana at all, ever. Never
freak out
into the state.
You guys, some of the stuff there is, we talk about antiques, but you could down there, look, you can get that 200 and 300-year-old stuff.
Right.
Like it's not uncommon to find true antiquities. It's amazing.
You're both done. I can't talk to either of you anymore. I can only because y'all are killing me with these travels. I have a 5-year-old. I can't go anywhere. I can't do it.
Girl, it ain't that far from you. What you gonna be like 2, 3, 5, 6 hours from downtown?
That's okay, Ariana. Michael and I we'll just come down to Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
and then we're gonna take it to New Orleans.
Yeah.
Listen,
cool. Maybe in the summer.
I go one step further. I want to know if, I'll ask. Like when I go to an auction, I'll ask, whose stuff was this? What was their name? I want to know who they are, and I talk to them. I know it sounds weird. I mean, I'm not like physically, but in my brain, I'm talking to them. Like I feel like, and I'm like, you know what? You had some really nice things. I do that. You had such a beautiful collection. You know what I mean? I mean, to me, it makes it feel more personal, that you're not just going in there and you're not evading, and you're just, you're making that connection with that person who possessed those things and cherished those things. And then when you find the notes and stuff that they've stuck in things, then you're like, okay, now I know that this was divine and I was supposed to, I still have a couple things from that auction that I'm strangely holding on to.
Yeah, when you talked to her husband, that was such a good video.
Mm-hmm. That was a day that I'll never forget.
Yeah. I always ask those things too. I ask where things came from, how they got them, where they worked. And then I keep a little book that I have in my house, and I write down everything that I buy for myself, and I describe it, and then I write its story. Where did it come from?
Oh, I love that.
So that way someday, I mean, whoever gets my stuff will know where things are from. And I particularly like writing things down that I've picked up on my travels, because I think that's extra special too. When you surround yourself with things that have meaning, whether it's from someone that you really never met, but they feel like family because now you have their special treasure, where you have items that you've picked up on your travels, where they are a legitimate family piece. It's just neat to have all that history kind of written down.
And one day, Katie, somebody in like 50 years from now, they'll stumble upon your journal with all of your treasure and your travels.
Well, good Lord, notes. 50 years from now, she might still be alive. Jesus.
Okay, 75, 100 years from now.
Let's go 100.
Sometime in the near distant long.
But now they can like look you up and be like, oh my God, look at this lady had a YouTube channel. Look, here she is.
Oh my God, isn't that crazy to think?
That's wild.
And then too, the estate sales that like I prefer to shop at, like the last one I went to, it was very evident that she was a flea marketer, a thrift shopper, an estate sale shopper in and of herself. So I'm sure that even though we were rummaging the way that we were, I'm sure she was like, get it, like go get it, like, because she you could tell by her stuff it wasn't she was probably get that one, that's a good one, get that.
I could see
that one's my favorite.
This is if we're at Michael's thrift store or Michael's estate sale, 75 years from now.
Okay, thank you.
People are going to be walking around. He's going to be going, don't you touch that. Don't you touch that.
Be careful.
Put your pinky up if you're going to touch that.
My house.
Where are your gloves? Where are your white gloves?
Get your pinky up.
Are you going to buy that? Don't touch it if you're not going to buy
it. We look with our eyes, not our hands.
Wash your hands before you touch anything of Michael's. Make sure you're clean.
Hand sanitizer.
And Misty's will be like, go get the babies. Go get those babies.
Yeah.
Babies.
Squeak them all the time, real loud.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. So you guys, and I do want to let know everybody down in the chat though too, is that again, just a friendly reminder, you guys, while we're up here on the camera, don't forget that you guys are playing a really important role in it. If you guys have questions, throw them in there, put them all in caps. We will try to answer as many as possible. I am notorious for getting behind in the chat when answering questions, so do bear with us, but yes. So what do you ladies see like the future or the idea or concept of sourcing changing, because a lot of people are reselling? I mean, even when you go to yard sales, you hear people, I heard it so many times last year, well, you can get this and this on eBay. Yeah. Or some of them might even have the pictures, and I'm like, I don't even put it on eBay. I'm standing in your yard at 8 o'clock in the morning.
I do that. When I see that, I turn around and leave.
Yep.
I do, because you're not gonna be able to get anything.
Yeah, because what are the chances of that one Fenton, hobnail vase collector that would pay $100 for it on eBay wandering up to your roadside yard sale? That's just not practical.
To me, when you go to a yard sale, you expect it to be a certain price point. I mean, not everything may be, bargain basement prices, but when you're having something called a yard sale, there's going to be a lower cost associated typically with it. So if you're having a yard sale and you're upping your prices into the hundreds of dollars, you're not really having a yard sale. You might as well just be having a live eBay extravaganza in your front yard.
Right.
And I'm sorry, but I don't think the average person, just like I mentioned with those teapots, is necessarily going to be there to buy a $300 teapot. I mean, it's a very niche market. You know, so put it on eBay if you really think it's worth more, but don't put an eBay printout next to it and expect someone looking for things for a sale to be able to pick that up.
Right.
Yeah, it's just, and I kind of want to say, why don't you just sell this on eBay? Oh, because you don't want to ship it? Oh, well, that's part of it, though.
That's how you get that
lower
price.
Your price and you'll sell it at a yard sale then.
Right.
If you don't want to lower your price and sell at a yard sale, then put it on eBay. If you want an eBay price.
Now, Pam is asking, specifically Ariana, but ladies, when you are going into estate sales or yard sales, how are you guys approaching them? Are you bringing in bags? Do you have boxes? What's your setup?
So every estate sale company has their own different rules and regulations, just like YouTube resellers. Some do just in cases, some don't. Some do offer up, some do straight claims. It's the same with estate sale companies. It's just per the owner. But the majority of estate sales that I go to do allow you to bring your own bags and boxes. They actually prefer it and insist on most instances. When you check out, there's just not enough boxes and paper and items like that to wrap the items that you buy, especially when you buy in bulk like I do. I mean, they're just not going to have 10 boxes for me to fill. So I always bring my own reusable shopping bags and my own totes. Always. I have them in my car. But I did go to an estate sale, not this weekend, but last weekend. And I was walking through the estate sale with my shopping bag. And I was putting the items I was interested in my shopping bag. I usually do. And they actually told me I had to leave my bag and my purse under their table because they were fearing that I was stealing. So
again, you must have
no
thief.
Well, Ariana goes in there. She got the backwards cap on. She got the hoodie and everything. She's looking all gangster, like, oh, be afraid of that girl.
Yeah. For those of you that have ran into me in public, I don't always look presentable, especially when I'm digging in a basement or an attic. I always have a ball cap on. Misty can testify. A ball cap, a dirty t-shirt, sweatpants, and Crocs. Don't come for me. They're comfortable and functional.
And they have to be when you're digging.
And her Judge Judy t-shirt.
Yeah, I have my favorite t-shirt that says only Judy can judge me. Huge Judge Judy fan, okay?
I like Judge Judy too.
She gets it, she'll get you, but
they don't pay me to be beautiful, they pay me to be smart.
Exactly. You just made me want to spit out so many Judge Judy. I'm holding them back. But honestly, you can kind of just tell the vibe of the estate sale when you're in line. If the people in front of you have bags and boxes, run to your car, grab your bags and boxes. If you see a sign, normally they're going to say no big bags, no big purses, then not to. But always have them as a backup just in case.
Yeah. The estate sale I went to, they did not allow bags of any kind. So they had boxes set up pretty much around the whole perimeter of the estate sale in different rooms, and you could claim a box and just go back to it and put everything in that box, and they give you a number. But what's interesting, though, is that with the jewelry, they had a whole different method. Now, I never seen this before, but you had to get a ticket back at the jewelry station. I guess they didn't want people to steal it. But
Okay.
their jewelry was dirt cheap. I mean, they honestly didn't like, they knew they had expensive teapots. They did not know they had good brooches, which was lucky for people that like
Yeah.
brooches like myself. But you had to get a ticket. So they would make you write down pretty much all the brooches, and the lady would total it out. And then you couldn't take the brooches to your box. They had to sit back there under the table. And then when you checked out, after you paid for it and gave them the brooch ticket, they gave you another ticket. You went all the way back into the back room to this other lady and got your brooches. So I don't know why or how that system really works, but that's what they had us do for that.
They said we need to pay as many people as possible at this estate sale.
Volunteers.
Let's add an extra
I
You're
piece.
on brooch duty.
I had seen somebody talk about church sales. Let
Oh.
me add a church sale. That's my favorite place to go.
Well,
Is a church yard sale.
Same.
I've
But
always
you gotta
wanted to
be
go.
there right when they open, because everybody loves a church yard sale. You gotta
We
be
used to
right.
have one big one that did it every year. They have not done it since COVID. Like, not once have they done it. And it was huge, but no more.
And then, oh God, I love it. The only thing that's painful at a church yard sale is checking out.
Because they're
That's
like,
the only thing you're just like,
$5,
can I come back here and help you?
50 cents.
Oh, you got some beautiful things. I didn't see this one. Martha, did you see that? Oh, what do you think? Oh, I used to have like one of these too. Oh, this is so cute. I have one right now.
And then I'm like, I can help you wrap all this stuff up. I'll just give me some paper. I'll help you.
No, I went to a yard sale a while back, and it was a woman checking me out, and she wrote all my totals down, all my numbers on a piece of paper, and then she started adding them on the calculator, and she'd get like 10 in and make a mistake, and I would just start over, and she did it like 30 times, and I'm like, just add like 2 and then make a total, and then add like 5 and then add the, because oh my gosh. But yeah, Michael, you hit it on the head.
It is. But you know what? There are some antique malls that are like that too. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I could eat lunch. I could bring out a snack and eat it by the time that they write everything down and take the tag off. I'm like, can you just leave the tag on? But they don't, because they take it off. Then they got to tape it to 15 different pieces of paper.
Mm-hmm.
Pam and I were at this antique mall the other morning, and the guy was so sweet. Honestly, super nice guy. But he was slow as molasses. And we were both really hungry because it was about lunchtime and there was no AC. So it was hot as hot gets, you know. And we're in there waiting, and I had all these brooches. So here comes the guy with the brooches. He brings one out at a time, very slow, like a sloth. Cuts off the tag, he reads it, he writes it on a ledger, and then pastes it to the book. And so everyone goes to this ledger. And I thought, okay, so he's got the ledger and he's going to add it into the computer. Oh, no. Then he brings out the calculator, types each one, and of course, some had sales, saying to go figure out the sale for each one. He writes it on the ledger, and he gives me the ledger. He goes, is that okay? And I'm like, well, I think so, but I'm like, it's fine, but I can't see. So, and then some lady comes up, and she's like, excuse me, sir, do you have silver in this case over here? And so he goes, hang on 1 minute, ma'am. I got to go help this. So he goes off to help this lady. And this poor lady, she goes, well, I see it's marked sterling, but how do you know it's sterling? How do you know it's really sterling?
Because it's sterling.
Because it's marked sterling.
It's got a 9 and a 2 and a 5 on it, lady.
And the lady just would not believe the guy that it was actually sterling. So then she said, well, I want to see this in this case. So then he came back up to the front. He's like, I'm sorry. So he goes and he gets
bless his heart.
This goes on for about 25 minutes. I kid you not, of this lady that does not seem to know what real silver is and is opening all these cases and can't make up her mind. So then the guy comes back and he brings me the ticket. He's like, let me check this again with you. Is this okay? I'm like, yes, it's fine. So he goes to this cash register that's not attached to the cash register that actually needs for me to check out. So he has to punch all that into that machine. And then he goes to another machine and punches it. 30 minutes later, we get out of the end.
See, I probably would have said, can you just finish here first? And
Yeah.
Excuse me, lady. Wait your turn.
I'm like, whoa, we were here for
Listen, lady.
Listen, lady. Go to the Google. It'll tell you how to tell
Mhm.
the seller.
I don't know what was up with that. It was very bizarre.
God love him though. You know, he was just
Yep.
trying to have good customer
Friendly.
service, you
And
know,
help everybody. Yeah, I can't
but
fault the guy.
still, it's
But it was
aggravating.
so slow, and you're trying to be so nice and polite. You don't want to say anything, but you're also like, man, I'm hot, I'm hungry, I want to sit down and cool off. And
You're
then
like, I know what I'm buying and I'm
it's
ready to
really worth
go.
it. And you're like,
Yeah.
yes, they are. They're
And-
really worth it. I'm gonna wait.
I always tell when I'm at because like today, the antique mall that I was at today, there's 2 levels. And so I have my cart. I walk around the first level. I put everything that I've put in my cart on the counter. And I always tell them, I for sure want everything I'm buying. I'm for sure getting all of these things. You can go ahead and start wrapping them up. Sometimes they won't, but
They
I
won't.
think
Yeah.
they won't. But I'm like, I am for sure. I will sign a piece of paper. I'm for sure buying everything. So please, because I mean, if we're, as a reseller, there are times then I'm like buying 4-5 boxes of stuff sometimes at an antique mall. And it takes a long time to get all that stuff going. And so I wish that more places would just be like, okay, we'll get
Proactive.
yeah, but some of them that know me that are used to me being in there, they will. But if you go to a new place, that doesn't always happen. But yeah, it's frustrating.
I've noticed a lot of people maybe are more apt to do it, especially even if it is a new place. If if you're filming and you're like, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, especially the ones that will immediately check out your YouTube channel. I've noticed several times they'll be like, do you want me to just go ahead and wrap this up for you now? And I'm like, yes, please, please.
I wonder, I saw someone comment that it was probably that because I was younger that I kept getting accused of stealing. And I wonder if age does have something to do with it. I'm finding it difficult to get people to, for one, allow me to film because they think I'm just.
Well, Ariana, listen, they think I'm 25 when I go in there. What are you trying to say?
You look good. I'm gonna say. But, and then, of course, with the stealing thing, it's because, I don't know, is it because I look younger? And the thing is, I do touch everything, right? Because I'm a seller, so you pick it up, you look for chips, you look for cracks, maker's marks. So I'm always touching everything. Like I said, if I'm outsourcing, I'm in a ball cap. I don't look like this necessarily. And they just follow me around like crazy. And then I'm not going to say the name of the estate sale company because I did leave my business card. So I don't want no problems, if you know what I'm saying. But I did go to an estate sale recently and I loved everything in the sale. And I said, who is in charge of the sale? It was like the 3rd day, so it was kind of winding down. And I said, and they pointed me in the direction. And I said, hi, how much for a buyout? Like, how much for everything left? And she looked at me and she said, oh, sweetie. She said, it's going to be real money, not like $10.
Oh, no.
And I said, and I looked at her flat in the eye and I said, well, that was a little insulting, don't you think? It was a little extreme of you to assume what's in my pockets, but I'm no longer interested. Thank you so much. And I walked away.
Wow.
Good for you.
But
it was just, that I get that all the time. I get it all the time. All the time. No one, I can't get anyone. Now, YouTube, here, my friends are awesome. You guys are awesome. Everybody who comes to my sales is awesome. But in the real world, I'm having the hardest time gaining respect as a reseller.
I want to go back to that one place. If I come to Georgia, I'm going to go back to that one place.
I can't. I can't. I've been kidding.
I'll go in. And I will cause a scene.
See, I don't have so much of that problem, Ariana, but I do have a lot of people that are like, wow, it's nice to see younger people into antiques.
Yeah.
Or, wow, we don't expect people like you to come in and be interested in this,
Now, like, they'll say that to me after I spend the $500.
Right.
But right out the gate, when I ask them if I can film or, if they'll do a buyout or quit following me around the antique store, it's not the same story. But it happens so frequently that I can't even anymore say, okay, I'm going to leave because I need merchandise. So, for example, at that estate sale, I said I'm no longer interested in a buyout. I still walked around, and then afterwards, I spent a large sum of money. And then she started to say, "Oh, I didn't know you were serious. I didn't know that, like,
Well, why would you have even asked?
Yeah.
you know." And so it's not till after I throw down the green that they take me
Yeah.
seriously. But I want
Yeah.
that respect prior. I don't want to have to buy my respect, you know.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
having the hardest hitting it, man, hardest time.
It's so funny. I would have done the pretty woman too. You should just pull that big old cash stack of money. You big mistake.
And walked away.
I know. I need to get some prop money so I can do that.
Big mistake.
And just leave.
She said, I need prop money because I don't want to lose the real stuff, you know.
Right.
That's funny.
Now, ladies, I know Miss D's question has been up here for a hot minute. I got to read. When you ladies are out buying, no matter where it is you're buying, are you ladies looking for things specifically for your customers? Are you shopping based on your personal aesthetics? Or are you looking for things that you are seeing that are trending?
I think it's a little bit of everything, to be honest. You know, I do pick up a lot of what I like. I love advertising. I love brooches, you know, so I do pick that stuff up. But like I said, I do pay attention to what's selling and other sales. I mean, I am sourcing more for a live sale market. I don't do eBay and I don't have an antique booth. So Ariana might have something else to offer on this topic, but I find that I watch enough sales to kind of see what's selling and other sales, what's popular. And just because something's popular for a fleeting moment doesn't mean it's going to stick around. So you got to kind of pay attention and watch those things.
Very true.
And just because one channel is really successful with one item doesn't mean that you will be successful with that item, because you have to keep in mind that people have worked hard to build up their brand, and people might want a particular item from a particular seller, not so much because of the item. So for me, I put in all of those factors. So I do buy a little bit of what I like. I also know what my customers are interested in. And then I also pay attention to what's trending and what is popular enough and what kind of has sustained popularity to bring to the live sales. Any of your vintage holiday is going to be popular pretty much all the time across any sale for the most part. I've found that brooches for me do really well, but I've also found that brooches that are blingy do well. If they're just sort of your average pins or kind of more plain enamel pieces, they're not going to do as well as something that's maybe the Austrian crystal ones that I'm really lucky enough to find. You know, so you kind of got to really dissect things. And my biggest thing is just watch sales, figure out what's selling, and take pieces from people. Say, I like this, I don't like that. Why don't I like that? Why do I like this? And then make it your own and figure out all of that stuff. You really just got to be researching and paying attention.
I'm blown away. Is she not so smart? Like,
Well,
I zoned out listening to you, Katie. Like, that is why you're so successful. That's why you,
Thank you.
because the way your mind just wrapped its way around that entire concept, you should just be so proud of, I mean, your mind. That was beautifully said and really well thought. And that's exactly it.
Thank you.
I'm just like, girl,
Well, what she said was exactly on point. It absolutely 100% was. I actually had this conversation with a lady at the antique mall today, and we were talking about it a little bit. And I used to buy whatever I thought I could sell, but I've noticed that when I don't stick to the things that bring me joy and make me happy, I'm not as quick to sell them. They'll sit on the shelf for a while because they don't speak to me. They don't excite me. I don't care. I mean, honestly, I don't care about them. They don't ignite a fire in me to bring it to a sale. So I try not to buy the things that I don't aesthetically like, or things that make me happy, or something that maybe I think it's good to challenge yourself a little bit from time to time and maybe go a little bit outside of your comfort zone. But I know me personally that if I'm not if I'm not on fire for it, it's going to sit on my shelf for a long time. And
Yeah.
that's
Your
not just
customers can see that.
It, you're not going to stand behind it as strongly.
right.
Convey your face and through the way you speak about the item. You're gonna be like, it's glass. It's you're gonna
Yes. Yeah. But that's just what I have found.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I did too when I started out on my live sales is I was picking for everybody else. And the items were selling, but then I was starting to lose myself that quickly. And I was doing what I wanted to be as my brand and as so, you know, you do want to bring what people want, but sometimes they don't know what they want until you bring it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
you just have to step outside of your comfort zone and step outside of your box, and maybe that will be what.
Because, you know, I always say you don't wake up today knowing that you need an Austrian crystal brooch, or you don't wake up today knowing you need a mid-century modern piece of glass. But when you see it, suddenly you might say, ooh, I think I need that. And then they're enticed to buy it. And so if you're passionate about it, I do think people kind of become, you know, it's infectious. Your excitement is infectious, and people decide that they want it too, just because maybe you're excited about it. But also, if you build enough of a brand and you kind of become known a little bit around the community, and you find one thing that you're known for, people will know that you have a good source for it and you have a good quality, like Ariana with the vintage holiday. People know that, and they're going to come back, you know. So that's also really important.
Yeah, I mean,
think,
oh, go ahead, Michael.
No, for me, you know, I guess for me, the thing that is really important to me is, and I've been truthful about this in the past, and I will continue to be, is a lot of the things that I pick up, I respect and appreciate, and I respect and appreciate them via somebody else's aesthetic. I recognize the value that other people see in it, and I respect that. And that does get me excited about it, because I'm like, yeah, I found this. I know people are going to love this. Is it something that I personally love? No. You know what I mean? Like, is it hard for me to let a lot of stuff go? No. Are there certain pieces where I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this? Yes, because I'm invested in that piece. What was I going to say? Oh, that said, for me, the overall thing is that irregardless of whether it fits in my personal aesthetics, is it unusual? Have I seen this same item go up 10 times? I've seen this item go up 10 times. I've never seen it go up in this colorway. I've seen Fenton pieces before, but I've not seen this Fenton piece.
I mean,
this is really weird and unusual. Like, that for me is that is the key to success. Because if people are going to come to your sale knowing that you're going to give them good quality items, but you never know what's going to show up, that element of surprise, the element of anticipation. And trust me, we all know good anticipation, but you got to give a good payout, right?
You do.
That's the key to having the stuff that drives people to your sale, and the personality to sell it.
Yes.
Well, I mean, how many times do we see Fenton Silvercrest at a sale?
Right.
I mean,
It's everywhere.
Fenton Silvercrest, Silvercrest. I'm actively looking for things that you can't just go in any antique mall or in any thrift store and buy. That's not what I don't want to find the ordinary. I want to find the extraordinary and the odd and the different and the weird and the unique.
And just because it's Fenton does not mean that suddenly it's a ticket to all things cash. You know, Fenton is good and it's wonderful, but like Misty said, Silvercrest is everywhere. Same with glass. You know, I watch a lot of sales, and everybody has wonderful and different things to offer, but I see a lot of things that are more common. You know, you see a lot of certain Indiana glass patterns and certain 70s patterns, and there's nothing wrong with that if you love that and that's your aesthetic. but they're common. So if you really want to get an edge and fight in this really growing live sale community, and believe me, there's a sale pretty much every hour of the day, even at 3 a.m. now, you know, you got to bring stuff that's different enough where people are going to keep coming back. Because I think, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it, I think the live sale market's a tad oversaturated at the moment.
It is. But you know
And
what?
you gotta have that
We're expanding.
you know?
We're expanding.
Yep. There's nothing wrong with that. But if there's thousands of sales a day, how are you going to be the sale out of all of them that people want to go to? And I think Misty and Michael and Ariana have it right on the head, is that they find things that you just can't find everywhere. They're bringing unique stuff, and nothing again wrong with Fenton or some of these other regular things that you find, but you got to find something that's unique, you know.
There are evergreens. Right. There are staples too. They're very much the skeletal system of, and you know, and none of us are saying that, oh, it's Fenton, it's worth. No, that's not. It's again the uniqueness of, you know, there's Fenton, and then I've seen that Fenton piece 10 times over. It's that 11th Fenton piece that I've not seen. So, you know, the names. It's the same thing with Viking Glass or Federal or Imperial or L.E. Smith. All of those ones that everybody knows, right? But it's those unique patterns or the unique colors
or
that's
sizes.
the difference.
They're talking about the apple face dolls. You must not invoke the apple face dolls.
Those were so special.
And I'm just saying, like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh no. You said it. And it
you're going to freak Miss Pamela out now, Michael.
Yeah, look. No.
Oh no.
Hey guys, how y'all doing tonight?
The grandma one was the best.
Oh, grandma. Well, grandma's packed up and she's ready to go, guys. I don't play.
I was with my mom last night on the phone. I was telling her how I needed to start selling more items out of my personal collection because my house is filling up and I want to keep buying and keep collecting because I love that. But in order to keep collecting, I have to let some things go. Yes. We'll start selling some of your pieces. And I said, it's just so hard because, and this was, it's so hard because almost everything in my collection is a one of a kind. So once I sell it,
I can
never get it back. And that's what brings me joy. And that's what I like to bring. I mean, of course, there are the staples that we all look for while we're out shopping, like Holt Howard and L.E. Smith, you know, those types of pieces. But as far as like what items bring me joy and what I love to sell the most are one of a kind. So once it's gone, I can never get another one like it. So that's the struggle I'm having is I buy these things for resale and then I'm like, but
I have that same feeling, Ariana, because you know I love brooches and I love advertising, and there's just some advertising pieces, particularly in the Tobacciana realm, that just you're not going to see. I mean, people had tobacco tins, they used them and probably tossed them.
Yeah.
Lunch pails you find a little more because people actually did reuse them for their lunches. But the pocket tins, I mean, there wasn't really a purpose to keep those around. So there's some that I have in my collection that I've paid, you know, up for. And if I sold them, I probably would never get another one. And that's so hard because on this trip, I've been finding advertising. Oh, I got to have that. And I think, well, where am I going to put it?
And King's like, oh, but am I going to be able to sell it?
But doesn't that make it so much more fun to be a collector of the things that are harder to find? Because it is like an adult treasure hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor Susan. Listen, Susan has been up here for a hot minute.
Poor Susan.
And I think this is a really interesting question. Susan is saying, at what point did you go from selling a few things to becoming a seller? And I love how she puts it in quotes because it's, you know, it can vary.
When you can no longer afford your collecting addiction. No.
Okay. But do you ladies have?
Well, I quit my job.
Okay.
I mean, when I started live sales, actually, I was invited to do one. And I thought, you know, I'll just do the one and I probably won't do another and I'll just keep making content and doing my own thing. And then I found out how much fun it was. And then someone asked me to do another one. And I said, okay, I'll do another one. And then I said after that one, well, the shipping, it was a lot to ship, and maybe I won't do another one. And then I got asked again. I thought, okay, I'm going to do one more. And then it just bit me. I fell in love with it. And then sourcing became really fun. And so that's the moment I thought, well, I still don't have a live sale every week, but I do enough live sales now that I would consider myself a seller. Yes.
Yeah.
For me, I very much, it was very specific. And I think if I thought a little bit more on it, I could remember, because I have every sale written down in binders.
I do too.
Every sale.
Handwritten.
Yep.
Same.
Handwritten down. I've saved every single one.
And I remember I was, for me, it was just going to be fun. And I got to hang out with friends and experience the thing that they were so passionate about. And it was just a way to kind of have the extra pocket money for the collection, like it freed up extra income. And then it was like, well, hey, sure. But it was we had and I'm not going to put a dollar amount on it, but I will say this. There was the sale, and it was pretty early on, but there was a sale, and in that sale, I ended up, and I'm going to be full disclosure with you guys, I ended up making more in that sale
that
than
3-hour
what I
sale
made in an entire week working a full-time job.
in 3 hours.
In 3 hours. And that, for me, I was like, what am I doing? And that's not to say that happens in every single it's not. I don't want, I don't want to paint a false narrative, a false story that somehow that happened. It does not.
No.
But it was in that moment where I was like, if I really took this more seriously, and it's not to say that I never took it seriously, but if I took it out of I take my hobby serious and apply more business and business practices to it, I can really do something with this. And it was that sale, and I was like, oh, we're gonna change this up. We're gonna change this up. And that was before I had a YouTube channel too.
Yeah.
By the way. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So it was a very specific moment for me.
For me, I had my first antique booth at 16. I knew the owner of the antique mall, and she knew that I was serious, and she allowed me to have one, kind of like under the. But I paid rent. I did all the things, and believe it or not, I have had a lot of jobs. I'm like Barbie. I've done everything. I've been a receptionist. I worked at an orphanage. I've done all these things. And during all of my job, trying to figure out who I was as a person, what I wanted to be when I grew up, I was always selling at flea markets, at my antique booth at the age of 16. And I searched all the way up until I was about 28 years old, 20 years old, and I realized, girl, what you want to do when you grew up, you've been doing this whole time. You just didn't realize it. And I thought I was broken, because all my friends were in their careers and they were starting, doing what they wanted to do. And I had no idea what I wanted to do. And I couldn't pin it down. I couldn't nail it down. And I woke up one day and realized it's right in front of your face. What you've always loved, what you've always done, that's you. That's your career. You just need to do it. And ever since then, I kind of kept my head up and went that way, and didn't really care if my friends thought I was crazy or weird, because I certainly am very different than most of my friends, because they don't really understand. But I just kind of kept my mind at the level I knew that this was for me, and I've done it ever since. And I'm one of those people, and I think we all are, where we love what we do. Is it exhausting? Yes. Yeah. Is it a ton of work? Absolutely. Yeah. Do I dream about my sleep and can't wait to wake up and do it all again tomorrow, every night? So that's what it was for me. It was just a passion burning inside of me that I just had to do it, and I did it. And now I'm
good. And
The
that's
antique and vintage bugs definitely get you.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you just fall in love with it and you don't want to do anything else.
Well, I mean, I never had a job where I can't wait to get out of bed in the morning and get going.
exactly.
Like, I love Mondays. Mondays are the best because it's the beginning of a new week and it's the beginning of all kinds of new opportunities that you never know they're going to be at your feet. And so it's a great time to be alive.
It's a great day.
But see, you know what though, and I think this is also something too, and I guess I'll go back to another point, is that a lot of it is, I think that unbeknownst to a lot of individuals, and I think that it very clearly is communicated, whether it's during a live sale or whether it's during a posted video, is that a lot of times that enthusiasm, that passion, and that love of what you're doing in general, and of course the love and appreciation of the object is translated. You know what I mean? Like people can kind of pick up on that and people identify with that, and it makes people very relatable in that way. And yeah, I just think I think sometimes, especially if you're doing content creation, that idea or concept can get lost on us, especially because it takes a lot of time. You know, whether it's the sourcing, whether it's the editing, whether it's the actual sale, it's the packaging and it's the invoicing. So there's always something to keep you distracted. And a lot of times, what we get distracted from are people saying, "You don't know how much this means to me." You know, whether they are stuck at home, they don't have the opportunity. I can't, so many people have said, I don't have antique stores near me. And it blows my mind every single time,
Yeah.
you know, that we're providing them an opportunity too for things. So, yeah,
And we
I don't
are
know
kind
why.
of the window, to the world for a lot of people. And I
Yeah.
learned that during the pandemic because, like you were saying, Michael, a lot of people would send me messages and say, I'm in England and I'm locked down or I can't go outside of my house. And so your video has opened my eyes to the world. And especially when I did all those Christmas light videos, I kind of was thinking it would just be cool to showcase some of the lights in our area, particularly that one neighborhood that just goes all out. It's amazing. And people were commenting things like, wow, I did not get to see Christmas lights this year, and you've made my week. And just that one comment alone, in my opinion, I did my job because now I've given back to somebody that I didn't even know I was put, there to help, but I have. And I think that a lot of our videos can do that for people through our excitement and our love for vintage is they get to see things that maybe they don't get in their area.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's an amazing thing though too. I mean, when you really think about it, you know, there is a passion and a love for these things that have been around for several years or hundreds of years. And it is that commonality that has really brought, and so literally from around the world has been able to bring us together in a community. And it's nice because was it last night that I don't know, I can't remember, but about our ability, it was last night, our ability to kind of, not to say that we don't, we need a moment's break from everything that's going on in the world, and to be able to do that and be able to do that in community and focus on the vintage and the love of collecting, the appreciation and the history of these things, I think is so extraordinarily powerful and impactful to so many people's lives, because there's a lot going on and we don't know how it is mentally, emotionally affecting people. And sometimes this is folks' only escape. So it's amazing to be able to do this. Especially that's, more so the content creation, but I know a lot of people do show up at the sales and don't buy.
And that's totally fine.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
It's a form of entertainment, and I am totally down for that. Again,
I lurked at sales.
yep.
Oh, I do too. I do a lot and then I don't say anything.
I mean, you can't possibly buy at every sale every time. It's just possible. But the support and the camaraderie of just there is the most important part. And although, either I'm really tired or there's something in my eye, but I'm this close to crying. I'm not going to do it though. But you guys, like what Michael was saying about you guys saying that we're, we take you along and we bring you joy. And this helps me though, too. This brought me out. This gives me something that I have to get out of my house to go do. Even if I'm feeling down, even if I'm feeling not in the mood, this is what gets my fire going. And you guys do that for me. I'm sure for all of us, you are our distraction from the mess of the world,
Yeah.
like looking for stuff for you guys and seeing you guys like the stuff we bring. That brings us joy.
It does.
It does go both ways. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
And
It
I
really,
think
really
Nate's
does.
comment is excellent because, I did not know there were so many people into vintage and antiques before I got into this community. And what's so cool about any of the sales is hopping into a chat with a bunch of people that are all excited about one thing. I mean, they may not collect it, but there's some level of excitement about it because it's like, ooh, look at that Viking piece. And we all know, ooh, Viking, or, oh, look at that vintage Christmas. And now all of us have connected in a way that we didn't expect to connect. I mean, I've met people all across the country that, if you had asked me like 3 years ago, will you have friends that live, halfway around the world? No. But now I've gotten to know Nate, and I talk to Nate, and he's wonderful. And we message on Instagram like a lot of us do, and we've made friends and connected over vintage, and that's just so cool. And the chat, I mean, there's an amazing camaraderie in the chat between people that are just enjoying each other's company and showing up for vintage and getting to talk antiques. So even if you don't buy something in a sale, it's cool just to come hang out with all your friends in the chat and learn something, because you learn a lot too at the sales. They're great research to just learn about different items and see things and meet all kinds of amazing people.
And it's so cathartic too. I mean, if you've got, any kind of chronic disease or chronic illness, and you have days where you're just down and you hurt and you're in pain and but then you think about the things that you get to do, and it really does make me want to jump out of bed in the morning, and you feel, I work all of the time, but I love what I do. I haven't had a day off. I can't even tell you when, because my days off are Sundays, but I'm cleaning my house and doing laundry, and so that's not a day off. That's not a day off, but it is like Ariana says, it does, seeing you guys get excited, like when you post a video. Like, I haven't posted a video on 2 Fridays because I'm like, I don't feel like editing this video. And I told Michael, and I'm like, I'm not even putting out a video tomorrow. I'm not putting out a video tomorrow. But then I get
I'm like, okay, rebel.
You've been waiting until Monday to see your video. And I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. And it makes me want to work harder. You know what I mean? It makes me want to work. It makes me want to work harder.
I so enjoy reading the comments on my videos. I mean, occasionally we all get one that's a little bit not as friendly as we would like, but all the other ones that are just so supportive and kind and wonderful, it just makes you want to put out even more content, to read more comments, because they're just so wonderful to see how it affects people, and how many people that do have chronic medical issues are now finally getting a little anxiety-free zone to just hang out and immerse themselves in vintage. And that's just really cool.
When you're watching a live sale, if you're really in a live sale and you're watching it, whether you be a lurker or a buyer, the rest of your world just fades.
It does.
It does. It's amazing.
You literally, because I'm one of those people where it takes me 3 hours to fall asleep at night because I'm thinking about what I have to do tomorrow. What didn't I do today? What can I do? How can I improve? What did I forget? But then when I'm in when I'm in a live sale for those 2 hours, my mind shuts off. And I just watch the chat, and I talk, and I watch the pretty things come across the screen, and I can cool my brain for 2 hours at a time. And I love it.
It's funny to me, speaking of the live sales, how much of them have become part of my evening routine. And, before the pandemic started, I watched a few vintage channels here in the community. Vinny's in the chat. He was one of the first people I started watching. And then I found all these other wonderful people through Vinny, but I'd put them on in the evenings, just their regular videos. And then live sales started. And I realized how much a part of my evening routine certain live sales are. I try to make it to everything, but as I said, the schedule's getting so busy, it's hard to be everywhere. But I really enjoy that. And I find that I put them on while I'm cooking or while I'm cleaning in the evening or even while I'm walking Louie, I will have a live sale on. I'll be watching.
I've fallen asleep with my headphones in. And because like Mark doesn't want to, I mean, he doesn't really want to watch the live sales. He's like, just wants to watch he wants me to do something that's not work related. But I'll wake up and I got my headphones in and it's somebody's live sale. It's still playing. So I'm letting them play all night long. And it's just like, I feel like sometimes I wake up to Katie's voice. Sometimes I'm waking up and it's Ariana's voice.
Or you're just dreaming. Wait, I need that.
Wait, what? Katie, what are you telling me to do today? Yes, Katie, I will do it. So
really sick. And then like when Jeffrey went on his cruise, when it was like Friday night and Wednesday at 1, I was like, what do I do? What do I do?
You just pop it on. I'm gonna pop on.
What do I do? I feel weird. Where are my hands? Like it just felt weird to not see you there at that time and to see him at that time. It's like part of my routine, like part of my family. Like you got to be there. Where are you at?
Yeah. I mean, Friday nights I watch Jeffrey and I watch Flippin' and Sippin', and it's a kind of a religious thing. And then I've got all these.
Oh, it's religious.
Yeah,
going to church.
You watch at a certain time. You're used to it. If I'm around on Saturdays, now that the world's opening back up, I'm not as home as I was on Saturdays. But if I'm around, I got D on. Like all the regular people that we just have on throughout the week. And I've gotten to know some amazing people through the community, and we video chat. So I'll have sometimes those folks on in the evening, and we're just all doing our thing. Pam's on one of my chats sometimes in the evening, and we're just all cooking and feeding the cats and doing our thing.
Don't you like when you hear certain people's laughs, like you hear Miss Pamela laugh, or you just hear, or you hear D, because D has a real kind of a real great laugh. It just put you in your safe place.
Yes,
it puts you in a safe place.
Then when I'm sad, just crack it open and hear Miss Pam's laugh and shout it.
We need to record this so that we can have it at any time.
Yeah, Miss Pam, if you're listening, come out and give us
fire fuzzy.
Pam's in the other room packing up orders.
She needs to come in and say hi.
Pam's coming. Stand by. The Pam's coming.
I've been in there praying. On my knees praying that I don't get punished or struck by lightning during the storms tonight for cussing out the cable guy. When
I unplugged the internet.
When Katie unplugged the internet. Because I went outside so none of y'all would hear me, and I called him everything but a child of God is what I called him.
We love you, Miss Pamela.
Cord, right over here. This cord.
She said everything but the child.
I did.
Well, we love you, Miss Pam.
Well, I love y'all too, darling.
We'll pray for you.
Miss Pamela, we're all coming to your house next weekend, and we're all gonna. Come on,
baby.
Oh, all of us.
Oh,
all 415 of us.
Yeah.
Hey, what we can't fit here, we'll go up to Mark and Kelly's.
Yeah. We can all play hide the weenie.
Said, Mama.
It'll just be a hide the weenie weekend.
No,
hide the weenie fest. And we can have shirts that said, "I hid the weenie at Miss Pam's."
Oh my God, she'd kill me.
Bless her heart. Mm-hmm.
The weenie. Someone, if you are a songwriter, we need a song.
We need a theme song for Pam's channel intro.
Misty, would you like to for our lovely friends that might not know Miss Pam's channel exactly what Hide the Weenie is?
Well, yeah, I think that I can't describe it as well and as eloquently as Miss Pamela Blanchard. They kind of have to hear it from the source.
Yeah, you had to be there on that live sale that night. So that's
We hit it at the exact same time. We were like, yeah, Mike.
Oh, my cheeks hurt. Miss Pam, I can't get enough of your laugh.
I love it. I love it. We always
Yeah.
go off the rails at least a couple
We'll
times.
laugh as long as you can stay.
Pam is delightful.
She is. You know,
Oh.
I mean, laughter is just the best thing. It really is. If you're having a bad day, you can turn on something that will make you laugh. And I think that I love, people will say, you know, you made me laugh, or that made me tickle, or that tickled me that you said that. And that, to me, I love that I can say something or do something that might get somebody to laugh a little bit. That is very,
Right.
that is like a really, really high compliment, I think, if you can get somebody.
It's like the greatest gift you could give somebody.
It is.
Their day.
Yep.
It is.
Well, you know what? Here, and I see this. You know, I do want to acknowledge the quote unquote lurkers, because, you know, Ariana said it, and that's something that we were talking about before we went live was lurking. You know, I do lurk at Ariana's sale because Ariana's on when I'm doing shipping.
Packing.
Like, I'm packing everything from, like, tomorrow, Ariana will be playing in the background while I'm finishing up packaging. You know what I mean? So it is important for me because I understand, like, that's part of my process. So just as, you know, and Kathy said it earlier, you know, she'll take her laptop, take it into the kitchen, and she's got that on while she's washing dishes. So we by extension become company to one another during these very, like, mundane or unfulfilling, for some of us sane people, Misty, pay it, like, packing is not, you know, very fulfilling.
I love packing.
I mean, but it, you know, we become company for people doing the mundane, and it becomes not so mundane. It becomes more enjoyable. So if I can do that for somebody, like Dee is a good example. Dee is like the Saturday afternoon lunch buddy, and I feel some kind of way if the sale's not on during my break. You know what I mean? Like, it's just,
I love watching her haul videos and
Yep. I put stuff on all the time while I'm packing. I mean, I lurk a lot, you know. I try to comment when I can, but I find that when I get in the chat, then I become immersed in the chat and then I forget what I'm doing. So I put it on, I turn off the chat, and I just go about doing my things. And it's great. It's a wonderful way to stay busy. It motivates me to continue to do my stuff because I work well when I have something playing in the background, you know. So I will do my packing, my invoicing. One night I organized all of my records while watching Pam have a sale. It was great, you know.
I love a lurker.
I was just saying the same.
A creeper? Can we say creeper?
No, Bridget, I was just saying the same thing. I was like, I don't know that I like the word lurker. It's like we need to come up with another name.
What about observer?
That's too official.
Oh.
Hey, you peepers. How y'all doing?
I like peepers. I like peepers.
You peepers.
A casual viewer.
Are you a peeper?
Are you peeper?
I like peeper.
Or just call them Toms.
Hey, Toms.
Oh, it is. Pam said Secret Santas.
Oh, what? Like Secret Santas.
I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Listeners.
All of our listeners.
I'm a creep.
Listeners.
Can I say, but I think like anybody, well, I won't say anybody, but like, I think a lot of people, like when I'm like, when you're a subscriber, when you're a viewer, I hate that. Like, it makes me feel like I'm like, okay, you guys, thank you. Like, I want to thank you for watching, but I don't want to thank you for being a subscriber, or do you know what I'm saying?
Like
a viewer. Like, it's so impersonal.
Yeah. You know what I like to say when I have someone that's new and they subscribe to my channel and I can tell they're new and they're commenting? I always say, thank you for being part of the Vintage and Vinyl family. Yeah, because I want people to feel like they're part of a little community or a group that I've built, you know? So I like the word family.
I could say, hello, all you fellow weirdos.
Yeah, see?
We're all weird. We're all weird. You know what? Every
Wonderfully
single
weird.
one of us on this planet, there is at least probably 5 people that think you are the weirdest person they know.
I'm flattered.
I mean, seriously.
And that's a good way to be, because life's too boring to be plain.
Right.
Yes, our secret agents.
Secret
You're
agents.
our secret agents. Ooh.
The secret agents of vintage.
They need badges.
See, and then this is what happens. Okay, this is why. Because so Jason's saying, Mother Tucker's Antiques is I'm lurking right now. And then he says something, and then everybody starts going hi, and then we start talking about Jason. And then he's like, wait, what am I missing? What's going on? That's why a lot of us lurk, because you want to be, as Katie was saying, you become immersed then, and you're like, you don't want to seem like you're being rude.
Because there'll be times when like you pop in and you might bid once on something or just say hi to one person.
And then
yeah, and then you'll pop out and then more people will say hi, but you weren't there to say hi. And then it's like, do they think I was ignoring them?
And it never fails. This person that's having a sale will say, hey, Misty, and you're not even there anymore because you just popped in and popped out.
Yep. Or you'll get an email from someone, are you upset with me? You didn't say hi to me in the chat. And I'm going, okay, well, there's 500 people in this one chat, and I am one person with one keyboard, and I do not have the typing skills that Pam has. So, I'm pecking away on my keyboard trying to say hi to you. And I love everyone in the chat, but it's impossible for me to say individual hellos. Plus, I don't want to take away from the sale, especially during an offer up.
Can we call them private eyes? I'm sorry. I want to call them private eyes.
Yes,
they're watching you.
Private eye.
Yes.
Every move. Hall & Oates. What was I going to say? Gosh darn it. Oh, I usually say hello, everybody.
Yep.
And I feel like I'm hopefully covering my bases, but I don't ever announce when I'm leaving. I don't think that you have to announce that you're leaving.
Hi, Helen. Hey, Helen.
I like Daniel, because Daniel always says thank you for the hellos. And I just think that's nice so well. I think that's very nice. Or hello, everybody, because you can't say hello to everyone. It's impossible in a chat room of 500 people.
Yeah. They see your every move. And we need to think of a new word for sniper.
Yes.
Oh,
I don't like the word sniper. I think that sounds kind of vicious. People aren't purposely.
Well, it is vicious. That's the point.
Well, but sometimes with the lag, people I think don't mean to snipe. They just come in at the last second, or they're just popping in.
Jedi.
They
Jedi'd it.
Ninja. I call it. That's what I call like on eBay when I'm like when you're watching something and you're like you're gonna get that come hell or high water, and you got it up on the phone and you're watching that countdown and you're watching that count and you waiting for that 5 seconds to either throw in the bid or to increase your max bid. You call that ninja bidding. It's ninja bidding.
I still will never forget, Michael, my very first sale where I had all the trolls and you were just like, I can picture you in my head just going pew 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 pew.
That's right.
Well, I just want to, and I'm going to say it here. I'm going to say it here tonight. I'm going to be probably doing possibly a live sale over on Whatnot.
Ooh.
I have my onboarding meeting all set up. I'm going to go through all the training, and let me just tell you about Whatnot.
Those people do not play over there.
Let me just tell you.
Like,
if you have a sale on Whatnot, it's a very growing vintage community over there. It's very teeny tiny small, but you have to register your information. Like, so
ID.
The Whatnot. I'm watching the Whatnot all the time. I have it in my head and my headphones. I'm watching all the time. But anyway, you put all of your information in. So they have my information as a buyer. Okay. And I watch a sale and I bid on something from the sale and I win that something on the sale. and they take the money right out of my account right then and there. As a seller, I don't have to find anybody's information.
Oh,
I
that's
don't have to ask
fantastic.
for any information, but you have to ship the item within 2 days. I mean, you have to, which fine. I do that now anyway. I mean, so you have to, they've got rules that you.
Yeah, LaDonna, I agree with you, but that's the thing. I think
Not,
Whatnot is really trying to change and shift directions. They want a more cultivated
yes.
um,
LaDonna,
seller and buyer.
I got all kinds of stuff that I can let go for cheaper. It's going to be a very different, at least in the beginning. I'm not going to be selling on Whatnot what I'm bringing to Sunday night's sale. You know, it's
It
a
is
straight
not.
shipping. No, you pay, what was it, $8 and then it's $1 over.
I forget how, like, you have to put in, this is the interesting thing because I'm pretty sure you have to put in weights measurements before you list
Yeah.
the item. So there's a lot of stuff as a seller you're
You
going to
have to do
beforehand that you would do in the end. But that then gives, depending on your seller, because when you're your buyer, Jesus, when you sell it, it immediately charges you, and it charges you based on your weights and measures that you've put in and the person's shipping. The first item you pay the actual shipping on. If you buy any additional item within the same sale, it has to be the same sale. Whatnot charges you $1 shipping. So there are some sellers that are very kind and gracious, like Kennedy's Castle, that will say, here's this kid's book. It's a golden book. Anybody want it? Well, I'm going to pay the full shipping on that. And then all of a sudden out comes a swung vase. Guess what? I pay $1. And Whatnot covers the cost between the actual and the dollar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
what?
It's something and there's a countdown clock right on the screen. And so someone puts in a bid and say there's 7 seconds left, and Ariana puts in another bid, then it's a soft close, and then they'll expand it by 5 seconds, and then she's got another chance to get it, and then it's done. And there isn't a lot of jibber jabber. You are there for a sale and you're selling it. Then the next item's coming up. Then there's a minute. Then the next item's coming up. And it gets started in a minute. Then the next item comes
if you
up.
got to the heart conditions, just make sure that you're good on the meds, because it can get pretty it's straight up boom, 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 boom. You got to be like, what? It's fun, except when you're really trying to go after something.
I'm looking at it as a way to clear out some of the inventory that I don't want to bring to my live sales.
Now, can you see what item is coming up next, like in a regular auction?
You can do a preview. You can do a preview video and post that preview video, sort of like an estate sale. You use a video, or like what we do on our reels.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm telling you, I'm just telling you, I'm going to give it a go.
Well,
we're going to give it a go.
For branching out.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yep. Yeah. We're going to give it a go. We're going to try it. I may hate it, may not ever want to do it again, but I'm just looking at it as another revenue. Another stream of revenue to be able to
sell. You don't know till you try. At the end of the day,
you tried it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think the biggest, I think that the issue is going to be, oh boy, and you can watch it on the app.
Yes.
Or you can watch it on the web browser.
Yeah.
The nice thing about it is that there is only a lag. There's not a lag, because the seller will make the listing go active, and everybody is on an even playing field. So that's a really, really nice feature about it. Again, there's a soft close. The problem is not going to be getting the sellers. It's going to be asking the buyers to go on to yet another platform to buy stuff. That's going to be the issue. But that's with any new technology, people can be resistant to change. So, a lot of it is going to depend on the sellers that they get that will
I
help people
mean,
transition.
well, I have seen some sales and it's just like, oh Lord have mercy. They're painful. They're painful to watch.
Do you have to put your information in to watch or only to
They're
bid?
outdoorsy. Well, do you all know that? We'll just call it's a little outdoorsy right now.
Well, no, I mean it's a new platform that is building momentum. And they've approached me and they are actively looking for YouTube resellers to bring yeah. Hey, Tim. Yeah. So what do you think about it, Tim?
Yeah, I heard Tim was selling on Whatnot, and I was interested to check it out. But and I think as a seller, it's nice to diversify where you're selling and not putting all your eggs into necessarily one basket, which is good. That's something I could work on expanding, maybe doing some other forms of reselling. But I haven't actually gone on to Whatnot, so I'll have to try that out.
I suggest going over there and looking at it. I really do. I mean, but yes, even just if you're wanting to buy, you have to put in all your information. You have to verify your phone. You can put in your PayPal account. You don't have to put in your credit card. You can put in a PayPal, which I recommend because it is backed up and safe. But yeah, that's the only thing that I'm leery about too, Danny, is creating a catalog. Tim says, I absolutely love it. It's still very much a buyer's market. Yeah. And the transition for what we sell will take a little bit of time. I agree with that. And that's why I think I look at things that I have, like that I'm not necessarily bringing to my live sales. I could bring them to Whatnot and offload them that way.
There's really only been, and that's the thing, so far as the actual sellers for us, like for anybody that's watching and for us on the screen, there's not enough sellers to really get people, I think, interested enough as a buyer to want to super invest in it. So again, it's going to be it's not about the sellers per se, though there does need to be more maybe notable sellers, but they have to have those sellers to attract more buyers to change that market because it is a buyer's market, right? But
I'm telling you, it's a great way to. They're fun to watch. I think
it's totally it's object driven though too. Like there's very few sales that I've seen where the person is actually featured. It's normally front facing. The camera is front facing and you'll see their hands, but it remains. Please let me know down in the comments. I want to ask this question right now to everybody that is in the chat. Okay. And be honest. If we were to have a sale, and you might maybe see us at the beginning and you would see us at the end, and the duration of the sale was all front facing and it was only an object and you only heard us and saw our hands, how would you feel about that? I'm curious. And that's not to say that we would have to do it that way on Whatnot, but I'm interested to know what you guys think. Oh, Susan was right out the gate and said no.
Oh, sorry, Susan, but Tim's
saying everybody's saying no. Barb is saying she would love it.
Barb would be like, yes, that's my.
You don't have to adjust the
no
camera.
Hair, no makeup, be in the pajamas, right? Like.
I will say though, with Whatnot, the way that I would probably do my sales is you would see me at first and then it would be focused on the product because I want the sales to go fast.
No, look, Catherine said I wouldn't mind. Catherine's selling. The only people I feel, oh my God, every single person.
I don't feel like people could.
There ain't not one yes. There is not one yes. Well, that was unanimous. Okay. I like asking that stuff though. See, they're saying because they want the connection.
I agree with that. And I'm not saying that it would take the place of. it would just be something in addition to where I could offload some of my excess things that I don't want to bring to a live sale.
Oh, Tim is glad. Yeah. See, and I think though that's something though too that I feel like we're just giving it all away for free right now for whatnot, but whatever. I think that's something that they have to.
But I just get I am so sick of people that are just like, oh, well, you're giving away this information for free, or I want to give them my code so they can. No, this is not what this is all about.
We all learn from each other.
Yes. That gets me all mad.
I mean, I was just gonna say that I think that what Whatnot has to really focus on is that they're very object driven, and a lot of the live sale, it is the connection with the individual, and it is a relationship that develops, right?
And that's why I think people watch the live sales here on YouTube, is not only to buy cool things, but to connect with someone, to be a part of a community that's kind of bigger than they are, and get to know people. And so if you're selling with just a camera facing on some items, it's great in that it moves the sale along more quickly, but you can't really connect with the person or get to know who they are. So I can see for a YouTube platform where that really wouldn't work out. But for an app where you're moving through maybe a lot of ephemera or something like that, I could see where that would work really well. Or brooches, something where you're showing a lot of detail. I think it's easier to have the down-facing camera on something like
that.
Yeah. See, I've not seen any. I mean, I prefer to do my sales on camera, but I've not seen any on. I don't know if is it a Whatnot rule that you can't be on camera?
I don't think so, but I just think that it's one of those things where the majority are, therefore it's like that's how I'm supposed to do it kind of thing.
Oh no! See, I would rather be on camera. If you're going to be at a sale with me, you're going to see me too.
Y'all would rather you be on camera too.
Yeah.
Plus,
a lot of people, but a lot of
glasses.
There might be a lot of people, but think about it like this though too. Is that maybe there are a lot of people that want to do a YouTube live sale, but there ain't nobody out there really truly that is it's only focused on the item. So then they feel some kind of way, like they want to sell it, but they don't feel comfortable being on camera. But then they're like, well, they recognize that everybody wants to connect with somebody, and then they might find that Whatnot works better for them because they don't have to be on camera. And there's something to be said for that though too.
Yes, and I know a lot of people personally that would love to sell, but they're very camera shy, and that's totally understandable. Not everyone's ready to go on camera. So if you find an app like that, or eBay, or even a static Instagram sale, you can sell things without having to be on camera. There are other platforms, which is great.
Yeah. I mean, you could do a YouTube sale and not be on camera. I mean, I think though that as like Michael just asked, it seems like a lot of people prefer the personal aspect to it. So, you kind of have to take that into consideration. I'm just always interested in trying something and seeing how it goes, and then making up my mind.
And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it works, then you keep it moving.
Yep, and you might as well try something because it doesn't hurt to try it.
Yes, and make sure that if you're looking for categories, it's under like other Whatnot or something other.
It's something. Other, and then it's Whatnot, and then currently there's only people that are selling under estate and antiques. There is a subgenre category called thrifting and vintage. As it stands now, from what I've seen, it's all clothing. Yeah. Boring.
I don't. That's just not my thing. But
Uncle Andy, it depends on the seller. That's the thing, though. Just like YouTube, Whatnot will evolve, where it's going to be one of those things where if you don't like the chat, there will be sellers who don't chat. If you like the chat, there will be people who chat. If you don't like seeing the people, so again, it will evolve if it keeps going to where you'll be able to pick what you do and don't like about it.
Yeah. And I agree, Tim. I agree with you at 100%. And what we do as resellers, it's very important to always be evolving and adapting.
Mm-hmm.
You have
I
to.
agree.
Well, guys, it's past the 10 o'clock hour. It was definitely easy to get there. I think it went super quick. I gotta say, I think tonight was a very positive, very
Yeah.
bright night. I'm really pleased, ladies. Thank you for agreeing to be with us this evening. It is always a
Oh,
pleasure. Let's get it.
Put your pinkies up.
Good night.
Do I?
I was saying good night to my friends.
Oh.
Good night for my friends.
Yes. You guys, thank you so much again for taking the time out of your day and to spend some time with us. We do hope that, of course, you got some laughs. You might have even learned a thing or two. Who knows? We do appreciate, again, you guys being here. Again, if it wasn't for every single one of you out there, we would not be able to be up here. So we are, of course, incredibly grateful and appreciative for all of your love and support, except for Miss Wormsley there, whom
Except for Catworm. Everybody except for Catworm. Oh, gotta love it. Gotta love it.
all right, ladies. So what have we got coming up? Where can we see you ladies next? What you got coming up? Ariana, go for it.
Somebody else.
Live YouTube sale every Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, Georgia Standard Time. And my mom is my partner in crime during those live sales. And I'm going to use this little moment as a little self-serving promotion. I have
Please.
very, very exciting merch coming.
Woo!
I love it. It's going to be a full order for them. It's not going to be a small drop like I've done in the past. And it's going to be very universal. And I'm extremely excited about it. I have some being made right now as kind of like samples, but I will be full drop within the next couple of weeks. So just check back at my channel. You're not going to want to miss this merch drop. I'm really happy how it turned out. So keep an eye out for that.
Get it.
It's going to be so
Ooh.
good.
That's very exciting, Ariana. I can't wait for that.
Katie, lady, what you got coming up?
So as you all know, I am traveling and I will be finally back home sometime this week. But I've been dropping videos onto my channel, showcasing all of my fun travels and shopping adventures. A new video just went live today.
Ooh.
And I will be working on getting the telephone museum guy up on my channel, and you'll love him. He is wonderful. He takes us through a whole tour of the Jefferson Barracks Telephone Museum. So if you love princess phones, antique phones, you're going to love this guy because they've got some really rare stuff with some amazing stories. So I will be sharing that on my YouTube channel very soon. And of course, this Friday, I am hosting Flippin' and Sippin' Takeovers, so make sure you tune in to my channel. I'll be having some special guests on. We'll be playing Mad Libs, having a sale with some of the items that I found along my travels on this trip. So make sure you tune into that. That will be at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, and that will be on my YouTube channel, so you can find me there.
Awesome. Miss Pate, hit it.
Well, tomorrow, Michael and I have a sale at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on my channel. And then Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern on my channel, I have a sale with Tiger's Timeless Treasures.
Yay!
Oh,
At 4 o'clock, immediately after that sale, I will be on Sarah's channel and Sarah the Traveling Button for Wicked Good Vintage at 4 o'clock on Wednesday. So immediately after that sale, going on to that sale. And then Sunday night, we got Four-Eyed Vintage.
yes, we do.
And then Monday, we're back here on my channel next week. And we just do it all over
Lots of
again.
fun.
That's right. That we will.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, again, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. It is always a pleasure. You guys, everybody out there, thank you again for being with us. don't forget, down in the description of the video, it's a lot to keep track of, we know, but down in the description video is all you have to do, or hit those little blue links. Those are your links, and it'll take you to everybody's YouTube channel as well as their Instagram. You just have to hit follow. You just have to hit subscribe. It is that easy. All right, guys, we hope you all have a good night. Again, thank you all for being here, and we will see you soon. You all have a good evening.
Bye, friends.